Sheldon the crab loved his life in the ocean. He spent his days scuttling around on the sandy floor, playing hide-and-seek with his friends, and singing and dancing to the rhythm of the waves. The sun warmed his back as he scurried along the ocean floor, and the salty water buoyed him up as he swam and spun around in joyful abandon. Sheldon's favorite game was hide-and-seek. He loved to burrow himself deep into the sand, just his eyes peeking out, and watch as his friends searched for him. Sometimes he would sneak up on them and give them a little nip on the leg or claw, just to startle them and make them laugh. But Sheldon's true passion was singing and dancing. Whenever he heard music, whether it was the sound of the waves crashing on the shore or the rhythmic clicking of his crab friends' claws, he would start to sway and spin in time with the beat. He loved to let his voice ring out over the water, even if it wasn't the prettiest sound in the ocean. Despite all of his friends and fun in the ocean, Sheldon couldn't help but be curious about the world beyond the waves. He'd had heard stories from the other sea creatures about a beautiful, sandy beach where humans played and laughed. Sheldon couldn't imagine what these creatures looked like or what they did on the beach, but he couldn't help but feel drawn to it. One day, as he was playing hide-and-seek with his friends, Sheldon accidentally scuttled too far from the shore and was swept up by a wave. As he was carried along, he saw the beach in the distance, shimmering in the sunlight. Sheldon was afraid and confused, but he also felt a thrill of excitement at the prospect of seeing the human world for himself. As the wave washed him up onto the sand, Sheldon's heart raced with fear and wonder. He looked around, trying to take in all of the strange sights and sounds, the towering buildings, the colorful umbrellas, the children splashing and playing in the water. But as he realized that he was far from his ocean home, he started to feel a pang of homesickness and worry. How would he ever find his way back? Sheldon felt lost and alone on the unfamiliar beach. He longed to be back in the safety of the ocean with his friends, but he knew that he needed to find a way back on his own. As he scuttled along the sand, he noticed a group of humans playing and laughing nearby. They were throwing a frisbee back and forth, and Sheldon couldn't help but feel a little bit envious of their carefree joy. As he watched, one of the humans spotted him and let out a shout. Sheldon panicked, thinking that he was in danger, but to his surprise, the human ran over and scooped him up in his hands. The human examined him curiously, marveling at Sheldon's red and white striped shell and sharp claws. Sheldon bristled a little at the intrusion, but he couldn't help but feel a little bit of gratitude for the human's kindness. Over the next few days, Sheldon found himself getting used to life on the beach. He made friends with some of the other crabs and creatures that lived in the sand, and he even started to enjoy some of the new experiences that he had never had before. He tasted the sweet, juicy flesh of a watermelon for the first time, and he tried his luck at digging deep tunnels in the sand. But no matter how much fun he had, Sheldon couldn't shake the nagging feeling that he needed to get back to the ocean. He missed the sound of the waves and the salty tang of the water. He longed to be reunited with his friends and family. As the days went on, Sheldon kept searching for a way back to the ocean. He scuttled along the shore, looking for any signs of familiar territory. But every time he thought he had found a path back, he would get disoriented and lost all over again. One day, as he was wandering along the edge of the water, he heard a familiar sound, the rhythmic clicking of crab claws. Sheldon perked up, recognizing the sound immediately. He scurried over to investigate and found himself face to face with his old crab friends from the ocean. They traveled all the way to the beach to find him. Sheldon was overjoyed to see his friends again. They embraced and danced and sang, just like they used to in the ocean. And as Sheldon looked out at the expanse of sand and water before him, he realized that he had not only found his way back to his ocean home, but he had also gained a new family in the humans who had cared for him on the beach. He was grateful for the experience and the friends he had made along the way. Back in the ocean, Sheldon felt a sense of relief and happiness wash over him. He was back in the familiar currents and rhythms of life under the waves, and he knew that he had his friends and family by his side. They spent their days exploring the reefs and playing games and singing songs. Sheldon felt grateful for every moment. But even as he settled back into his old routine, Sheldon couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder at the world beyond the ocean. He had seen the beach and the humans who played there, and he knew that there was so much more out there to discover. He wondered what other creatures lived in the world beyond his own, and what kinds of adventures he might have if he were brave enough to venture out. One day, as he was lounging on a rock in the sun, Sheldon made a decision. He was going to be brave and explore the world beyond the ocean. He bid his friends farewell and set out on a new adventure. As he journeyed through the open water, Sheldon encountered all kinds of strange and wonderful creatures, schools of glittering fish, majestic sea turtles, and even a friendly octopus who showed him how to navigate through a maze of coral. He explored new reefs and swam through deep, dark caves, and through it all, he felt a sense of excitement and joy that he had never felt before. Eventually, Sheldon came upon a vast, open ocean that he had never seen before. The water was clear and blue, and the sun shone down in warm rays. Sheldon took a deep breath and swam out into the open water, feeling free and alive. As he swam, Sheldon heard a familiar sound, the clicking of human fingers. He looked up and saw a group of humans on a boat, pointing and marveling at the sight of him in the water. Sheldon felt a twinge of fear, but he also felt a sense of wonder and curiosity. He wondered what these humans were like and what kind of adventures they might have together. With a deep breath, Sheldon swam over to the boat and greeted the humans. They were surprised and delighted to see him, and they welcomed him aboard. They talked and laughed and shared stories about their lives, and Sheldon felt a sense of connection and friendship that he had never experienced before. As the sun began to set and the boat started to head back to shore, Sheldon felt a sense of contentment and peace. He had explored the world beyond the ocean, and he had made new friends along the way. He knew that there were still many adventures to be had, and he was excited to see where life would take him next. In the days and weeks that followed, Sheldon continued to explore the world beyond the ocean. He visited new reefs and made friends with all kinds of creatures. He even traveled to distant shores and climbed rocky cliffs to watch the sunset. Everywhere he went, he felt a sense of joy and wonder. But no matter how far he roamed, Sheldon always felt a pull back to his ocean home. He missed his friends and family, and he longed for the safety and comfort of the familiar currents. He knew that he would always cherish his adventures on land and sea, but he also knew that his true home was in the ocean. And so, with a heavy heart and a head full of memories, Sheldon swam back to his home on the reef. His friends welcomed him with open arms and celebrated his return with songs and dances. Sheldon knew that he had grown and changed through his adventures, but he also knew that he was still the same crab at heart. As he settled back into his old routine, Sheldon felt a sense of peace and contentment wash over him. He knew that there would always be new adventures to be had and new friends to be made, but he also knew that there was no place like home. He felt grateful for the life he had lived and the lessons he had learned, and he knew that he would carry those experiences with him always. And so, as the sun set over the reef and the ocean grew quiet, Sheldon closed his eyes and listened to the sound of the waves lapping against the shore. He felt a sense of happiness and fulfillment knowing that he was exactly where he was meant to be. And with a contented smile, he drifted off to sleep, dreaming of all the adventures that still lay ahead.